All right, we're gonna resume the meeting. Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties and I did miss taking a vote for the automated traffic enforcement report. So we do have a motion still on the floor for that council accept the automated traffic enforcement report as set out in attachment 1 for information. All those in favor of that motion carried.
I was going to do a recording and vote.
And now we are going to move on to item 3. We already passed item 2. That council approved the endorsement letter for the town of Edson to become a designated community under the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program Rural Renewal Stream as set out in attachment 1. Councillor Byron, make that motion.
We didn't do the,
No, we already voted on that.
no,
We voted on that right before we went. We took a.
okay, move on.
We forgot to vote on the previous one. We went to the next motion, moved it and passed it, and had to go back and complete the previous motion.
Yes.
That was council's fault for failing to call a point of order on the mayor.
Yeah.
I called it.
All right, we will have Kundi step up, who's our economic development officer. Welcome, Kundi.
Thank you. Good evening. So I'm here to talk about the Rural Renewal Stream Initiative program, which was first announced by the province in February 16, 2022, under the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program. So this program seeks to empower rural communities in partnership with settlement providing organizations and local employers to recruit and retain foreign nationals to their work and settle in their communities. This initiative was first brought to our attention a few months later in April at a West Yellowhead Economic Developers Roundtable discussion, to which a large number of municipalities showed a lot of interest in participating. Since then, the town has been working alongside Settlement Services Edson in pursuit of this opportunity. And to date, only 5 communities within Alberta have been designated through this program, which include the city of Grand Prairie, the city of Brooks, the town of Tabor, the town of Vauxhall, and the town of Whitecourt. As for us, we are at a point where all we need is council's approval of an endorsement letter for the town of Edson as a last requirement for an application to this program. That being said, the motion on this table is that council approve the endorsement letter for the town of Edson to participate in this program.
All right, thank you, Kundi, and we will open the floor to questions. Council, any questions, comments, or concerns? Councillor Chouinard and then Councillor Byer.
Through the mayor to our development officer. Just to brief me, I like the program, but what would the town of Edson, I mean, the business community gain by this program? Can you give me a brief idea?
Yes, through the mayor to Councillor Chouinard. Through this program, once we are designated as a community of choice, the employers will now have will basically now have the right to recruit foreign workers to come in and settle in Edson and employ them. So through this program, employers will be guaranteed permanent residency for them and their families. Don't have to reside within the community for up to 3 years. And for these employers, for a lot of them, I have 15 already that have reached out to me. They are just looking for full employment. They're just looking for people to come in and cover shifts. And so that's the most direct effect that they'll have through this program to the employees.
Thank you, Kundi. Councillor Byer.
Thanks, through the chair to Kundi. Thanks for bringing this forward. I think this will definitely benefit our community as in addition to our business community. I just, when I was reading it, I couldn't help but think about the library and their role in helping newcomers as well. So I would just ask that, you know, as you continue this, that you reach out to the library and see what services they could maybe offer new residents as well.
Sure.
Thanks.
Councillor Moore.
Through the mayor to Kundi. Settlement Services Edson, is that an office in town, or is that a group of people that would help to look after this?
Yeah, so they are actually, I don't know if you know where the learning center is, but they're actually part of they're in a government building, and they're not part of the town of Edson staff. They work independently for the federal government. And so we went to them inquiring about their services, what they do. And so for them, they will assist employers with any sort of information resources that newcomers need. They help to integrate newcomers into the community to make it easier for them and provide any information to help alleviate the struggles and difficulties that come with moving to a community.
And they're in the provincial building.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Taylor.
Through the mayor to Kundi again, like other council members have said, really like the program. And the program is just to bring the employees over. Does that involve bringing immediate family as well? Or does that have to be done through the family class immigration setup? Other than economic, I guess, setup.
So through the mayor to Councilor Taylor. So to my knowledge, thus far, how it works is for any foreign workers brought into the community, that would include them and their immediate family. So that would mean, parents, if you have a wife, if you have children. And that's as far as it goes. And for those family members, it's permanent residency to live in Canada. Yes, excellent.
Great. Any other questions? Councilor Bell?
Through the chair, Kundi, when you say workers and that, are you considering nannies that are brought over to work in the household here? Are they considered a foreign worker? Because I know there's families in town that bring nannies in and they keep them, have them for 3 to 5 years, and they also help them get their citizenships and stuff like that. Are they covered in that too, or is this just strictly workers?
So through the mayor to Councilor Bevan, I did go through the eligibility requirements for the type of workers that are allowed. I don't remember seeing nannies in it because there are a few services that aren't permitted, like musicians, for example, or comedians. They do have a list of professions that people can apply for, as they are more or less looking specifically towards people that can contribute in, I guess, needed or necessary industries. I can double check that for you.
Yeah, if I may, reason I asked is because we've had some nannies for our children and that too, and they were able to come and work, and they were able to bring their families over afterwards and got citizenship and bring their kids over or whatever and that, and it worked out very great. And I thought if this was something that was included in it to make it easier for them, because they have a tough time trying to locate to another country.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
All right. I'm in full support of this. I know that our employers are screaming for workers right now, and it doesn't matter if it's entry level or more professional workers. Some of our largest employers in town are turning down projects because they just don't have the staff to support it. So, and we see that here as an organization as well. Challenges recruiting. So I think this will help in that regard. So I'm in full support. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor? Motion carried. Thank you, Cindy. Can I get a motion, please? The council set the public auction date for recovery of unpaid property taxes as November 16th, 2022. Councillor Byer will make that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Can I get a motion, please? The council accept the September 6th, 2022 information items as set out in attachments 1 to 8 for information. Councillor Taylor will make that motion. Any questions, comments, or concerns? The number of items there with information. Councillor Byer.
Through the chair to maybe administration, regarding a couple of those letters for Alberta Municipalities Conference, when would we expect to see a reply back?
Go ahead, CO Beveridge.
Certainly, with regards to the final letter, as we know that was a follow-up letter, but as far as the status of the minister's requests, we were putting together a package of the meetings that we have been successful in, but that will be a part of our bring that back. Okay, very soon.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. No sundry items. Council committee reports. We are going back to, we just passed it, to August the 17th. And we'll start with Councillor Bevan.
Just on August 29th, the tour we had, I only made partial. So, but it was good. I've been on a tour half a dozen other times before, so, but it was great to see the updates.
Right. Thank you, Councilor Bevan. Councilor Moore.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, only a couple of things. I was part of the virtual presentation provincial police webinar on August 22nd. And then on August 24th, I was at the Edson District Historical Society annual meeting. And it was, it shows you just how far they've come in the last few months because of the COVID restrictions being lifted. And their bookings are up at the museum. A lot of people come in there and buy souvenirs, which is always nice. Helps them, helps the community. And of course, they tour through the museum too, which is always impressive and makes it's a good thing for Edson, certainly. And, yeah, and that's where I was.
All right, thank you, Councilor Byer.
Thanks. I had on Monday, August 29th, I attended the council facility tour, and I have to admit that was probably one of the most thorough tours that I've had yet, which is good and also bad because it uncovers some things that are less desirable, but nonetheless really important to see. So,
The fire chief is here sitting here ready. You don't need to.
and today, September 6th, I attended the homelessness, mental health, and addictions task force meeting. We had a presentation from the Rural Development Network, which council saw in August at the last meeting, as well as, it seems a little backwards, but the reflections brought the funding request for a security person for the shelter pod pilot project to the group, which had some interesting conversation that wasn't all positive, I suppose. Maybe some thought that was a bit too much money to spend on one security person. And yeah, that's my report.
All right, thank you, Councilor Pisichny.
I was on vacation, I have nothing to report.
Councilor Taylor.
Mine might be a little on the longer side. October 17th, I attended the Edson Public Library Board meeting. I just bring the council up to date on just first day of school. Anyways.
Do they not teach you how to read a calendar?
No, not anymore. They don't. Have you seen the new curriculum? All right. August 17th, I attended the Edson Public Library Board meeting just to bring council and administration up to speed on a couple of things. The cost is approaching now 2.5 million, which is not unexpected. It should not be completely unexpected. This is what you see when you do a renovation, right? Whether or not this might happen in the future on another renovation or new build that the town proceeds with, right? They are proceeding on, awaiting their grant application for the $1 million CFIP grant. They are making a presentation to County Council later this month, along with a tour. Hopefully conversations there go well. They're kickstarting their fundraising campaign as well throughout the community to, of course, offset as much of the cost as possible. And they have the Friends of the Library working on that. They'll be delivering letters throughout the community and talking to business owners. They have a breakdown of what they can sponsor within the library to help raise funds. It's an aggressive campaign, and hopefully we'll see some rewards out of that. They continually have updates with their draft plan, architectural plan. Something I just want to bring up note within the plan is that they met with marginalized groups. This was back in June, did a survey with marginalized groups. These were groups of whether it be people with persons with disabilities, Indigenous peoples, persons of color, LGBTQ community, just to hear their needs within the renovation concept and the expansion concept. They didn't get a huge number of respondents in it, but that's okay because they are minority groups, so you don't get a large number of respondents, right? But they, adjusted the plan to meet those needs. Then they had a great sort of session, meeting with Indigenous peoples in the community, talking about their needs and what they would like to see within the expansion project. And they will be incorporating some very nice Indigenous brickwork into the to the outer brick, as well as an Indigenous art piece on the front of the from the library property as well, when the time comes. So it's just food for thought in terms of just thinking about the future in terms of projects that we work on, working with marginalized groups and Indigenous people. So August 29th, the facilities tour, like Councilor Ryder said, it was eye-opening. It was great to see some of the facilities. I do want to thank all the staff that took time out of their day and very busy work schedules to give us the tour. We got to see Mr. Fisher's love for wastewater treatment. It was just absolutely little different. Anyways, September 3rd, I was at WAB May Day. That was successful. Today I attended the homelessness task force meeting and Councilor Fire brought me up to speed on that. So that's my lengthy report.
Councillor Chenard.
I'm like Councillor Persicny. I hurried home from the holidays so I could fulfill my role as deputy
How many
mayor.
tickets?
No, I don't know. I haven't checked the mail yet. I was also at WAP May, brought greetings on behalf of the mayor and council. And that's it for my report.
All right. October, no, see, I did it August 24th. Met with the mayor of Whitecourt, along with administration and their administration to talk about their performing arts facility, and they will be sending a letter to our council for consideration. Beautiful project that they're looking at for sure. August 29th, did the facility tour and always enjoy that. And I echo what Councilor Taylor said. Thank you to the staff for showing us around. And Mr. Fisher, I was thoroughly impressed with your interest in wastewater. And it's always fun going to the fire hall and seeing the chief and all the hose lines and nice shiny red things. And then on September the 6th, today, we had the homelessness task force meeting. Once again, they did the presentation that we saw here a couple of weeks ago. One of the things clarified during the task force meeting, and the question I asked a few weeks ago was the issue around individuals and how long they have lived in Edson. In the report, it shows that 6 months or less. Many of those individuals identify as living in Edson. They delve deeper into that data, and it shows that many of those individuals are moving between communities. So while they may have been here in Edson for just maybe the last 6 months, they were in Hinton before, they were in Edson before that, maybe they were in Whitecourt, and then they were in Edson before that. So there's a lot of, I guess, transition between communities in the region. Some of that has to do with incarceration as well. If they were incarcerated, then if they're back out on the street, then they're considered a quote unquote new resident in the report. And then, yeah, we talked about the security at the pilot shelter pods and looking for, I think one of the comments was a more financially viable, sustainable option. So that was an interesting conversation, and that is my report. We have no financial items, questions from media and public regarding items from this council meeting. Nikki, do you have any questions?
No questions.
All right, thank you, Nikki. We have no members of the public, Steve?
No.
All right. With that, I will call the question to go into a closed meeting session. Councilor Chenard, all those in favor? Motion. All right, Councilor Pasicny, you have a motion.
I move that administration proceed with the direction set by council as discussed in camera.
All right, any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Councilor Taylor?
I move that council authorize administration enter into a lease agreement with the Edson and District Public Library Board for a period of 10 years.
All right, any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carried. Councilor Chenard?
I move that council directs mayor to complete the town manager's review. Would that be the correct wording?
Town manager's performance review
Performance review. I knew I called
as
one.
discussed in
As
camera.
discussed in camera. See, I need help too.
All those in favor? Motion carried.
Motion for adjournment.
Counselor Byer, motion for adjournment.
Yeah.
Just go around the table. All those in favor? Motion carried.
I'm opposed.